Hello, this is Doug Brunke of the Global Chamber, and today I'm with Nobuo Yonayama, who has lived and worked in the U.S. on multiple occasions. The first time was in New York from 1988, followed by a stint in Washington, D.C. in 1991. The second time was in D.C. from '08 to 2012. His second son was born in New York, and his first daughter in Maryland. Therefore, he has two Americans in his family. Following his early retirement in 2012, he founded Nishin Global Corporation to be a bridge between Japanese SMEs, the small and medium enterprises, and international markets. Yonayama-san, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate all that you're doing and all that your delegation is doing. Could you explain a little bit more about why you're here in the United States?
Okay. I'm a part of this important mission with the background of business. And today I wish to talk about Japan from business perspective as well as economic perspective, based on almost 32 years of international trade background, including 9 years expat experience in New York and Washington, as well as 3 years of being independent advisor to SMEs for globalization. And the message I wanted to deliver is maybe looking at Japan from the outside. You might think Japan's growth is stalled or almost seized up. But in reality, we are evolving, and actually what I describe perfectionism-based evolution is going on. What that is okay, here is specification, and you have to meet, or you have to make effort to meet specification. Then that's it. But typical Japanese SMEs continue on even after they met specification, almost endlessly, try and error, going after perfection. And I don't mean that they are meaninglessly doing that. They think that's for sort of ahead of customers' requirement. So eventually they get discriminator or competitiveness by doing that. And I just wanted to share this fact with American friends that Japanese situation on site are still evolving, even though the past 2 decades look like, oh, it's stopped. But so how to enjoy Japanese evolution together? Definitely we have to express and explain what's going on. But hopefully we want American people, friends, to come to Japan to feel the evolution or perfectionism, so that the friends can improve, evolve your products and services, but also the connection to Asian market, which is growing, and they are really coming to Japan as well.
Would you consider this and what you're describing to be Kaizen, or is it really some other form of business improvement?
Yeah, it is Kaizen. In terms of big companies, they are forming small group efforts after hours, how to, they look back the day and realize what's different, and they come up with some reasoning, and based on that, they try to improve the following day or following week. That's definitely Kaizen, famous for automobile production lines, shop floors. But even small, medium enterprises, they are sort of combination of technology and skill. It's so small in space, so they do together. And the evolution sometimes come through how thin you make needle, or how light you slice your material, or something like that. Then all of a sudden new requirement will come up from the site. So
Is there a different Japanese word for what you're describing? And if not, maybe we need a marketing person to create a word for this. Because really, this is for SMEs and the continual pursuit of improvement and perfection and really looking for market opportunities and differentiation. Is that kind of what it sounds like?
Yeah. Well, sometimes we use the Japanese term kizuki, notice the change or sort of a bud coming out of the surface.
I see.
Yeah.
So how you mentioned Asia and Japan's view and also connections to Asia. That sounds like an opportunity for American companies potentially to partner with these Japanese SMEs to not only grow in Japan but in Asia. And maybe that's the bigger opportunity.
Right. You're right.
Could you talk a little bit more about that? How would that work? How would an American company do something like that? Where would they start?
Well, starting from maybe China, last year Chinese tourists increased by 83%, almost doubled. And depending on how how loosened the government of Japan do for visa for ASEAN nations, but more and more people are coming to Japan to feel the dynamism of what I call evolution or exciting changes, things are going on. And they say, oh, gee, this is very cool or neat sort of things. And they found, real Japanese stuff. And of course, leaders in Asia love United States way of education, management, and so forth, and so Europeans. But Japanese cover volume zone for consumer things and very good finishing or very good services and so forth. They attract those visitors and they go back to their mother nations and what they will tell friends what they found in Japan. Things are so American friends tie up with Japanese SMEs may be able to evolve their products or services in a sense Japanese SMEs are doing to attract Asian visitors or Asian consumers.
I see. So just to reaffirm, 83% increase year on year of Chinese visitors to Japan. So what that opens up the door to is, if anyone's ever been to a Japanese department store, for instance, I mean, these are fantastic customer experiences, and with Chinese visitors and others from Asia, this is a great opportunity for American companies to be exposed to that market.
Yes, you've got it.
Okay, no, that's fantastic. So certainly anybody that's listening can approach the Global Chamber, and we'll make the right connections. And your own company, I presume, is right in the middle of that in terms of, is it Nishin Global Corporation is actually helping to facilitate the connection between U.S. and
I'm not
Japanese
supposed to advertise my company.
Oh, you aren't? Okay.
But maybe for government's sake, JETRO is a big organization, and 47 prefectures have windows to make matchmaking for foreign partners versus American partners.
So American companies listening should contact JETRO, and certainly there's a large JETRO in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And if there's any confusion about that, please contact us here at the Global Chamber, and we'll be happy to make that connection. Are there other opportunities we should be thinking about, in terms of Japan, U.S.? It sounds like you're right in the heart of some great opportunities, and we really appreciate you sharing those today.
As Ambassador Fujisaki mentioned, TPP is a great opportunity. Actually, the market of Japan is, of course, in a sense, not really growing fast, but TPP really enlarged the market of Japan, and also, how should I say, like I said, the tourism, and heading to 2020 Tokyo Olympics, the more and more people are flowing into Japan, not just the tourism. So overall market potential, I don't want American friends to forget Japanese market is static. That's not true, and it's even expanding itself thanks to those positive factors, including TPP, but also 2020 and so forth.
And certainly with the exposure to the Asian market beyond Japan, there's some great opportunities to continue that growth. Yama-san, very much appreciate all your information today, and we look forward to continuing to grow our relationship between the U.S. and Japan.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.